Hello and welcome to SplitScreen, brought to you by Insert Coin.
Hello and welcome to SplitScreen, brought to you by Insert Coin. My name's Dan Long and I'm here to introduce you to the amazing people from in and around the world of video games. People who love playing games just as much as you do. Today, I'd love to welcome Ian Higton. Ian is a video producer and streamer and is the beating heart at the centre of Eurogamer's channel. He's an aficionado of both retro games, VR, and a keen enthusiast for the celebration of Jorts. Ian, welcome.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me on. I'm not sure about beating heart. Maybe something that rhymes with heart is what my colleagues would describe me more as. But I'll take it.
Well, yeah. You've got to take it. That's it. This is how it works. You have to take this now. This is it. That's it. I love flattery. I don't get it very often. So. Oh, you. No, I'm sure. So I touched on it then, but you are well known for your passion of a particular type of clothing. Mm-hmm. You are well known for your passion for jorts, and as probably the world's leading expert on the denim garment itself, which video game characters do you think would wear jorts in their downtime and or for a special occasion?
Oh, I mean, Crash Bandicoot wears jorts all the time anyway. When he's on the job and everything. Yeah. A character, I reckon someone like Nathan Drake would hang out on a beach wearing some jorts or something, maybe not the really long jorts, more like the casual jorts. Yeah, some jorts, like, they go below the knee and they're quite baggy with the pockets on. They're kind of like the classic jorts. I think Nathan Drake would wear more kind of light denim above the knee, kind of teared off jorts, the kind of
homemade, right?
Yeah.
He'd do them himself.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's different types of jorts. You have dungarees, which are training jorts, and then you have jeans, which are long jorts. Then you have jorts, and then you have hot jorts, which denim hot pants. Yeah, exactly. So there's loads of different types of jorts. It's you can't just have one pair of jorts. You've got to have a jort for every occasion.
a jort for all seasons.
Exactly.
So what for those uninitiated people out there watching this? Mm-hmm. What? Tell us your history with jorts. How's this all come to be?
Well, it all started one year at Gamescom. I went with Chris Bratt, who does People Make Games. He was a colleague of mine at Eurogamer, and I wore some denim shorts to Gamescom, and it was a year where Konami had taken the name Kojima off of Metal Gear Solid. So it used to say Hideo Kojima game. And so we did this video. It's still up on Eurogamer somewhere. It's like 30 seconds long or something, where I write a Hideo Kojima game and then walk up to the big Metal Gear Solid 5 stand, I think it was, and just sellotape a Hideo Kojima game underneath it and then walk off. And Chris just was like, I can't believe you just did that on camera with jorts on. And then he started taking the mickey out of my jorts loads. And I was like, I like these jorts. How dare you? I'm going to own these jorts. And then, I've slowly become a champion of jorts. I actually only own one pair of jorts, like real jorts. And I only whip those out on special occasions. But, I had my own Insert Coin brand jorts tee. Like you lovely folks gave me my first ever stint at modeling. And I think you can still see me on the website.
Yeah. You're still there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to crop that in.
Yes,
in all its glory. Love hearts around it.
I think I did pretty good in those modelling shots.
It was amazing. I'll tell you what, those. It was a joy making those ranges. We made the range with you lovely folk at Eurogamer and OX, and honestly, all of you really got the brief, and that's it, we're doing it. And it was like, these are really good. These are really good shots, because these were the shots that like you folk all took yourselves. Like we just said, oh, could you take some photos of you in them? And we're kind of expecting, like photos in the office, and it's like, But these are like, you've spent a lot of time working on these, and
I had
really
to make myself look good. Yeah, yeah. Like I love that Jorts t-shirt. The design, Higton's Jorts and stuff. It just looked like a kind of, if you were walking down the street and you saw it, you'd think, oh, that's an official Jorts thing. I guess it's not like
is there a Jorts shop near here that I need to go to?
Yeah, where is this special Higton's Jorts shop? So I bought one for my brother and my dad for Christmas presents a while back. Yeah, so because they all share my surname, surprisingly.
Yes, well, that's really cool. I think that's really lovely as well. I think that's what I really enjoyed with those two projects as a whole, was that it was like it felt like a real community thing. It was like it was just like a bringing together of, like, we've known each other for years, like as a mass of people, a swarming mass of people. But it was just lovely to work together on something like that, and sort of pick out the stuff that we knew that the community were really like would really sort of engage with and kind of get that humour straight away. So it was lovely to do.
Yeah, and you know what? I have been to multiple EGXs since, and people come up wearing that Jorts t-shirt and Jorts at the same time as well. So I'm like,
Jortsception.
Yeah, you've nailed that fashion choice, sir or madam. Well done.
So it's not all on Planet Higton. It's not all Jorts. There are other things as well.
Not many. Just
is it just Jorts now?
Just Jorts with a couple of things in between.
All right, just a couple of sidebars to it. So you're also you're really into your VR, and obviously it's still quite a niche thing, I think, in gaming. I think it's safe to sort of say that. But so what do you love about it so much, and what would you say to, because it is a niche thing, what would you do to encourage people to try it out for the first time for themselves?
Right. Good question. So I always say, when I'm trying to explain what VR is like to people, I would say that imagine you're looking at a picture of a holiday destination in a holiday brochure. Looks nice. But when you get there and you're stood in that spot where the photo is taken, ooh, that looks a lot better, right? So I literally just off from a VR stream I did on my personal channel, Platform 32. I probably have VR headset marks on my head, but it was Crisis. I played a VR mod for Crisis. So there's a wonderful modding community called the Flat to VR modding community, and they take old flat games and they mod them into fully VR games. And that's a really good example of the looking at a photo and then being there kind of thing, because I've played Crisis multiple times and it's great. I love Crisis. But on this stream, I was actually in Crisis. I had 6 degrees of freedom movement of my head, so I could look up and around and below, over my shoulder and everything.
How do they do that? That's how? I didn't know that was a thing that you could do.
It's something to do in terms of the camera. They put your head where the normal first-person camera is, and then they do something to get 2 images to get the depth. But the real magic for, not all of the VR mods do this, but the one I did also gave you motion controls. So you could pick up the guns, you could 2-hand the guns, or you could dual wheel like pistols. And
that's so cool.
Yeah. And so I love playing Crisis in a kind of stealthy way. You can run around in Crisis and be all armor activated and shoot everyone. But I like the sneaky, stealthy approach. And it felt so cool to be in VR looking through the eyes of Nomad, and I was crawling through the undergrowth, and I brought my gun up and I was looking at the enemy soldiers down the sights, flicking a thumbstick to go invisible. I got my stealth mode activated, and then crept up to them and took them out one by one, and it was just
amazing.
Wow, I'm here. I'm I'm actually, I feel like I'm in this environment. It's stuff like that is just so magical. There's plenty of made for VR games that I love. Half-Life Alyx, Astro Bot, plenty of these AAA kind of VR experiences. But my opinion at the moment is that the future of VR is flat screen conversions, VR mods from flat screen conversions, because it seems like the output of big, high budget VR games has just dropped. There's loads of indie games coming out, and I'm like, what is the most exciting thing that can bring people back to VR? And it's playing games that you love in VR. I mean, there's born from that flat screen to VR modding community is a whole proper official development team now called Flat to VR. They just released an official VR port of Trombone Champ. They're working on the classic racing game Flat Out, which is one of my favorite Destruction Derby style games. RoboQuest is another one they're doing, and there's another thing. But the fact that a bunch of modders have been able to start an official company is a great sign. And then you think about, let's say Sony. You think about some big video game developers. Sony, obviously, they have their own PlayStation VR headset. They also have this awesome back catalogue of games that will work great in VR. Like imagine Killzone VR, or the Resistance games in VR, or like a Ratchet and Clank in VR. It'd be like an Astrobot thing. So, I don't know too much about development and development costs and things, but I kind of think it's a bit of a no-brainer for companies to employ people to do a VR port of games that they've already done, and then they get to VR audience isn't massive, but they get that chunk of the pie anyway for less of a development cost because the game has already been technically made. They've made the graphics, they've had the voice actors in and everything. All someone needs to do is
adapt it,
VRify it, and smooth over the creases. So I would love to see more older games popping up that you can play in VR. There's always room for nice big AAA experiences, but they just seem to have gone, Sony especially has gone quiet on first party PSVR 2 games and stuff. So my hope is in modding and breathing new life into old franchises. I mean, Halo, right? Halo is rumored to be coming to other platforms. Wouldn't it be cool if someone did a Halo VR mod and you could play Halo Reach or Halo ODST in VR, or Halo 3, and you're running around and you can actually hold the plasma sword and swoosh it around. Oh, it'd be amazing. So these are just pipe dreams, but if they could happen, if they could happen, they'd be amazing. They would literally be amazing.
I think you've got this thing of a lot of so many, like you say with PlayStation and Xbox and all of the platforms that are sort of now, the dominant ones now, they've got so many dormant titles that they don't do anything with, that, that they're, whatever, their back catalog, like you say, in their back catalog, something like Astro, the recent Astrobot game sort of highlighted that with PlayStation, of how many sort of VIP bots there were, and for games that haven't had anything done with them for maybe decades. That's a way of breathing new life into that dormant game and bringing it to new people, and at the same time bringing people into this new way of playing it as well. If you have previously played it, well, here's a new way of playing it. So
absolutely,
it works for it's like win-win, right? So everyone gets something out of it.
Yeah, so there's this one mod that a guy called Praydog has made, and it's called the UEVR mod, and it stands for Universal Unreal Engine VR mod, not Universal, the Unreal Engine VR mod, and it's like a universal mod for any Unreal Engine 4 or 5 game. So basically, that mod got released, and it's still regularly updated, but any game that works in Unreal Engine 4 or 5 has the potential with this mod to be ported to VR. Not all of them work.
That's loads, right?
There's thousands.
There's not a small number of games.
No, there's a flat screen to VR Discord, and on there, people go through, and every time a new Steam game comes out that's Unreal Engine 4, they try it, and they say, this works great, this works poorly, this can be made to work better if you change this line of code in the mod and stuff. One of the coolest mods I played with that was Returnal. So Sony, so it was Sony's Sony published Returnal on the PlayStation 5 first, and then it came to the PC. And now you can play Returnal in VR with motion controls. So you can
That
point
must be
the guns and stuff.
terrifying.
It is, but it's so moody and great. And like, I loved Returnal. I was so good at Returnal. Not to blow my own trumpet. I got all the trophies. Yeah, trophied that to the max, platinumed it and everything. And playing it in VR, because like the main game, the normal game, third person. In first person, you can change between first and third person. Playing in first person, you can like when you shoot your gun, right? The energy from that gun fires across the floor and it lifts up leaves from the floor,
really?
following the airflow. And that's something I didn't really notice. I played Returnal so much and I didn't really notice that little detail until I was stood there in Celine's spacesuit firing a gun from first person. I'm like, what the detail in this game? And that's another good point with VR is every time I play a flat screen to VR mod of a game I've played before, I'm like, look at that. I'd never noticed that was there before. I did a flat screen to VR mod video for Eurogamer for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Oh, yeah,
in VR. And, I was able to wander around the Vatican and look at the bookshelves and inspect like artwork and, just be Indiana Jones for a little bit. It was great.
That's amazing. Because that's like, even like as a playing that non-VR, that's like, you feel like that's really immersive as a, like, there you go, you're in the Vatican now, like swamping around you kind of thing. And so to have that, like literally all around you as you're looking around. That's amazing.
Yeah, this one you can't control with motion controls. You have to use a controller, but I think that's fine. It's you get to sit on the couch with a VR headset on rather than having to work up a sweat. But, in that video there's a bit in the Vatican City where I walk into the Sistine Chapel and then I'm like literally looking around up at all the paintings and the artwork in the Sistine Chapel and going eye to eye with priests and nuns. And then the next thing I know, I'm running across the desert looking at the distant Sphinx and things. And I just like, this is, VR has a lot of downsides. The price, the comfort factor, the fact that some people don't have good VR stomachs, so it can make them feel a bit nauseous. But if you can get over all those things, like it is such an immersive, amazing way to play games that I just adore. And if they, if the price can come down, if we can work out a way to make it a little bit more comfortable for people, like if we can make the headsets a bit lighter and stuff, I still think we've got a couple more generations of VR headsets before it becomes like anything that casual gamers would want to play. Because that's another thing, right? If you're playing video games, most people want to kick back after a hard day at work, put their feet up, put their tracky bottoms on, slouch back, have a bag of Doritos next to them and play the game like, with their hand on that, maybe under a blanket even, just like, I'm cozy now. Can't really do that in VR.
No.
And I think VR needs to be able to be that relaxed.
It needs sort of like the flexibility of it, perhaps, like the adaptability. It kind of feels like it's almost like if you go to like theme parks now, they're still not far into like using VR on rides and using like augmenting stuff with that kind of technology on rides. And you think if they're kind of there, like why we bring it into our home now? It's like you say, it's like feels like a generation or two, almost like it was brought in too early to homes, and then it's put people off, and then like perhaps like for the reasons you say, like price and like comfort and stuff like that. Whereas if it had waited just that couple of iterations, that then people would have gone, brilliant. I've done that at Alton Towers. I know how that works. This is a lighter version. I can do it in my home.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe a couple more generations. But yeah, I went to Super Nintendo World in Japan not too long ago, and I went on the Mario Kart ride there. They've got these augmented reality kind of VR goggles on. So you when you're on this Mario Kart, you look around and you can see boos and other carts coming at you, firing shells at you and things. So it's slowly being adopted by mainstream entertainment. It'll take a while. Nothing's going to beat sitting in your pants with a beer playing Skyrim, you know.
I suppose it's another thing to like keep charged, and another thing to like, you know, or, you know, like maintain while you've got like controllers and everything else. It's sort of another thing. But what would you, if you could wave your Ian Higton magic wand brand magic wand? Not that one though.
Okay, that's in my jorts.
You could wave that. You put some trousers on from the pants, right? So if you could wave a magic wand and get any game that isn't currently VR as a VR game, what would you make as a VR game?
I always fancied a Cannon Fodder VR.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember Cannon Fodder from the Amiga.
Yeah.
So you would be. This could even work as an alternate, like an augmented reality thing as well. So you could like maybe put it on a table, and then you're standing over at God mode, and you are just using. Look, I've got VR controllers here, and you could just.
Never without just like them. They're just always
exactly. They're attached to me. Yeah, I do. But yeah, you could like guide your troops along, and you could float, and you could like literally survey. Because you know, Cannon Fodder, if your viewers or listeners don't know what it is, it's basically like a real-time army strategy game, quite fast-paced, controlled with a mouse pointer. You click here to go here, you right-click to shoot there, and it would be so simple to do it, even if, you know, you were just taking the original Cannon Fodder maps and just porting them to VR, and then you could have it like, you could have there's a game called Demio, which is like a Dungeons and Dragons role-playing style game, which takes place on a table, and it's in a virtual basement, like the basement in Stranger Things, you know, where Eleven hides. So you could have a virtual room, like you could make it look like like a World War II war room, like, or a tent, you know, and you could have it there, and you could be commanding your troops in there, and it would play exactly the same as the Amiga game. But you could like lean right in and look around the trees, and you could properly scout and see where things are and stuff. So that's one I've always thought would be pretty awesome to do. But what else? Anything else? Maybe Alien. I'm just looking at my list of my wall of games here. Alien versus Predator on the Atari Jaguar. That'd be pretty scary and VR.
Intense.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, I've got loads of retro games, and I look there and I go, Duke Nukem 3D would be great in VR. Oh, someone's already made a flat screen to VR mod of that.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I did a video of Duke Nukem on Eurogamer a while back. The Star Wars Dark Forces, that's had a VR-ish.
That would be. I'd like to have a go at that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Modern games, though, what's a modern game I've played recently? Ooh. Well, again, from the top-down thing, the Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
You know, playing that from a top-down toy box perspective almost. Yeah, it'd be great. There's so much potential for all. Like these flat-screen to VR mods, they've even modded, I think it was Street Fighter 5.
Really?
The UE VR one, I think it was Street Fighter 5, yeah, and you can just play Street Fighter as normal, but it's got depth to the scenery, and they're there in front of you on your headset rather than just on a flat screen. So yeah, potential's limitless, really.
It's just a nice way of like dressing it in a slightly different way. And the way I remember, I've got real fond memories of Cannon Fodder, like playing that. I think I had it on the Mega Drive. I think it must have been a port from the Amiga one, and but how you sort of describe that would be a perfect way of playing it, right? It's like you sort of like theme the world that you're in. It's not like you're making it kind of like an experience in and of itself kind of thing, rather than sort of like you're now person A in Cannon Fodder. Oh, you've been blown up, or you can't see anything, and you know you're actually making it a useful part of the game rather than like a tacked on bit or something that's actually making it more difficult to enjoy.
I mean, and if you want to be really somber about it, you know, the loading bit where you see all the gravestones on the hill, maybe you could walk outside the tent and like wander around the graveyard and be like, oh, I did this.
Yeah. That's the effect of war is very That's
bring it right up in your face. Yeah. So like, but
I'm afraid we're going to have to end this episode here while we just have a cry.
Sorry.
Something you mentioned there actually as well leads me on to what I was going to ask you next, which is as well as VR as something that like I know that you're really into. You're really into your retro games as well.
Yes.
And that's like a huge passion for you. What older games, what retro games, which is terrifying because a lot of games that I consider now to be like ones that I was playing all the time. I was like, oh, that's a retro game now.
Yeah.
But what retro games have held up best for you, like now, when you go back to them?
Held up best. I mean, probably the ones that hold up best are, I'm going to say most of Nintendo's back catalogue, really. Like games like Tetris and the Mario games, you know, any Mario game from like any gen still plays good today. Still, like, you know, the very first Mario Brothers game, still awesome. Like I had oh gosh, what is it? The NES Championships?
All right, yeah.
Game on the Switch. I was having a noodle around with that, and like I was playing NES Mario levels on that, and I was just like, God, it still controls and plays great. It's so simple compared to the other ones nowadays, but it's just a classic. But yeah, people say to me all the time, "Oh, what's your favorite game you've ever played?" And I'm like, I can't really say because I have favorite games from each generation, right?
Yeah.
I grew up, my first ever home computer system was the ZX Spectrum, so the tape loading ZX Spectrum. And not many of those games really hold up today just because they were made in
They were perfect.
They were perfect in the day, but for modern gamers...
If you could get them to load.
Well, that's the thing as well. And also, they like, you know, they were 48K or 128K. I have emails that are more than that. And you could,
text messages.
Yeah, someone put Elite on like the ZX Spectrum and stuff like that. And I still play Dizzy games.
Oh yeah.
I'm a massive Dizzy fan.
I remember Dizzy games.
Yeah, I have every single Dizzy game in my collection. So, you know, I play those all the time. And then like for me, like they still hold up. But for modern gamers, I don't know. But one thing I did kind of realize years ago is that Dizzy games are basically Resident Evil games.
Really? Oh, yeah, I can explain, but I think I might get you.
So in a Resident Evil game, you go and you get one random object that kind of works to unlock a thing to progress, and then get another thing that unlocks a random thing to progress. And so you'll go in Resident Evil, you'll go into the Raccoon City Police Department, and you'll find, I don't know, a lion medallion, which you'll put in a lion statue, which will open a door or whatever, or a key with a clover on it, and you'll put it on a key. Dizzy's the same. You go and you find some birdseed, which you can then put on the floor, and then a bird that attacks you disappears, so you can get further forward. You find an umbrella, which gets you past a rain cloud. It's the same thing. It's just, you know, so
not quite as gory.
Not quite as gory, no. I mean, have you seen some of Dizzy's death animation? Poor little egg. But no, it's, you know, it's the very core of Dizzy. It's just the same as a Resident Evil game. So I think Capcom owe the Oliver twins some money.
They need to. There needs to be a mod. There needs to be a Dizzy. You know, like they mod like Thomas the Tank Engine and stuff like that into Resi. Like you should do like Dizzy, which would be Dizzy just terrifying.
Spin jumping all over the place.
So with like retro games, if someone's sort of thinking of like getting into that, like someone who's like a modern gamer now, or like is just playing like current games now, what's the best way, do you think, for them to play those older games? And is there sort of like a good place to start to build a collection? Is there like something you'd recommend as someone who's into that side of gaming?
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to go the proper like method of buying the hardware and stuff, that's great. You know, games, I feel like retro games always play best on the original hardware. Trouble is with a lot of the older things, they don't have HDMI outputs, so you have to buy like adapters and things for the audio and the video outputs, or maybe get these old things modded with HDMI outputs, etc., etc. It's tricky. Some of the things are hard to find. It can be expensive. I'm a little bit of a fanboy of this company, but I love the Evercade.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you, like, the Evercade console is, for people who don't know, it is there's multiples now. It's like mainly a handheld console, but they have like a home computer, like an NES style looking console as well. But basically, the Evercade is a machine that plays retro games from across all eras via kind of emulation-y stuff. They started off with the first few carts, because it's all on carts as well, which I love.
Thank goodness it's not on tapes.
No, tapes would be a bit too much, but it's on carts. So you get the physical box, you get the cart, you slot the cart into the machine. In the boxes, you get instruction booklets and things. So you get the old school video game vibe. All the boxes have numbers on them. So like all of mine are numbered in a nice row. But yeah, the first ones were like in television, kind of, really old school 70s games. As it's gone on, had like games that were released on the NES, the Mega Drive. There's games like Cannon Fodder. You can play Cannon Fodder on the Evercade. There's an Oliver Twins collection, which has some of the NES Dizzies on there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they've done games that are, I think, up to 64 bits. Some of the games they've had on there, which, like proper like PlayStation 1 style 3D rendered games. But there's so many. And I'm just looking now to see what other ones. Too far away for my eyes to see. They've got arcade ones, so they've got like different genres. So they have the normal retro games. Then they have home computer ones, which they've got like some Commodore 64 collections on there and some Amiga collections like Bitmap Brothers and things like that. And then they've got arcade collections as well. So things with vertically scrolling shoot 'em ups, and, all those kind of cool arcade games that you might remember from the past. And the carts themselves, they cost about, I think the price might have gone up a couple of pounds, but they were about £17.99 last time I looked.
That's a bargain, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And they come out like two carts once every like 3 months or something. And you just have this little, sometimes it might be two bigger games on the cart. Sometimes it might be 17 or 18, like really like low memory games from the NES and stuff like that. And it's just, that's a wonderful way to do it. It's cheap, it's modern because it's portable, unless you get the Versus, it's called, which plugs into TV properly. The other one, the handheld one, plugs into TV as well, but the Versus has proper like
is that a dedicated one
and stuff. Yeah. So there's multiple. They have multiple ways you can play the Evercade carts, and they work. Each cart works on all of their kit as well. So I think that's a great way, nice and cheap way to do it. Under £20 for a brand new collection of games. Slot in a cart, off you go. And there's different eras and different developers to choose from. And I love it. I do streams of them whenever there's new ones out. Like they did. What was the last one? Legacy of Kain. They released the Legacy of Kain games on Evercade, the first two, which were great. I'd never played them before, and it gave me the chance to finally play them. And then they released the first two Tomb Raiders on the Evercade. They've got a Duke Nukem collection on the Evercade, which has like Duke Nukem 3D and Duke Nukem Game Boy Advance and stuff. So if I'd say, Evercade, if you want to get into retro gaming, cheap and easy and pretty good quality as well, Evercade, check them out. I'm not sponsored by Evercade.
No, you just really love it. That's
I do.
That's really cool. If you like really love something, and it's like you are an expert on it as a thing. And I think maybe that's the thing that puts a lot of people off, is that they can't just like, it's that thought of, oh, well, I'd love to buy that old console and like I grew up with and do that, but it's like, oh, well, it won't work on my TV, and then I've got to get this cable, and then it might still not work, and then I've got to get carts for it, like, or discs for it, whatever, because I've got rid of mine, or they're in my parents' loft or wherever it is. And if you can do it as a nice, discreet sort of package, that's a really nice way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like buying things like N64 carts and NES carts and stuff nowadays can get very expensive as well. Some of them can be pretty cheap, but others, sky high for collectors, especially if they mint in the box or so. And you can get exactly like some of the games on the Evercade are like really like sought after games that cost like 3 figures if you were to buy the actual cart, but then they're just it's
less than 20 quid, and you can. That's amazing.
Retro purists would be like, I want to play it on the original hardware. And I'll be like, yes, that's a lovely choice. But we're not all able to afford that. So
it's kind of, I suppose it's the same with like audiophiles and cinephiles, where they're kind of like, well, you should be watching this certain cut of it, or, listening to this on vinyl rather than CD, rather than streaming or whatever. It's kind of, you're always going to get people who want to experience it differently, I suppose. But if that's a way that makes people appreciate or play and appreciate and love and enjoy those games, and then that's surely only going to open it up to more people and make it a more sort of open hobby, right? It's going to make it, which is what we kind of all want, surely, at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And it's also a great way of like video game preservation as well, because again, a lot of the games on the Evercade carts, they come from outside Western territories, like they're obscure games that have been, translated, and, the games that, you would find very hard to buy on these shores. But now, instead of them just vanishing and no one ever playing them again, they've been preserved and they're playable on the Evercade. So, it's definitely one to look into if you're looking for retro gaming on the cheap.
Check out. We'll put a link into the bit below as well. So to appease the Evercade gods.
I won't get any commission for it though. So.
Well, you can ask, I suppose. Just send him another email. Just keep inundating him with the post.
They know. Well, they know me quite well, the Evercade people. They send me review copies of the game, so it's pretty good. There's like a bit of a meme, because when I first got the Evercade, I would tell my friends who stream with me all about it all the time. And they'd be like, oh, you've got an Evercade, you never said. And then whenever I tweet about the Evercade, people would pop in like in the comments going, oh, what? Ian's got an Evercade. Oh. And Evercade picked up on that and then like tweeted out, oh, Ian's got an Evercade? What? We didn't know. Like,
you're doing something right when the brand themselves sort of like pull you up on it, right? That's you've made it then.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're great. I love what they're doing with retro stuff and the way it's collectible and physical. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now it's time for some AUTOFIRE questions. Don't worry, you don't have to answer them quickly. You just it's just the sort of questions that gamers ask other gamers to find out what they're all about. So you kind of touched on some of these a bit before, but I think we can sort of dive a little deeper. What was what's your first video game memory?
My first video game memory is playing a game called Nomad, which is it's an acronym for something. I can't remember what it is, but it was on the ZX Spectrum Plus 3, which was the first game's home computer system I had. My mum bought it for me. It was a disk drive, and there was like multiple games on the disk. One was called Gift from the Gods, I think, and there was another one.
I remember that title.
Yeah. And there was one called Maelstrom. I don't know. It was about a postman. It was like a pun on the word. Yeah. But yeah, Nomad was the one that I really remember because it was like a sci-fi robot, and it was quite colourful. And this was my first computer. I was like, whoa, it's like a cartoon that I can control. What is this magic?
I think when you look back on, because I started with, I think I had a Commodore VIC-20. I had something before that, like some kind of like, it was like dials. Honestly, that's how old I am. It was like dials and like a wooden box. That's all I can't
Atari
know
2600 or something.
Yeah, probably. It was. I don't know. It was really basic. Oh. But then I had a VIC-20, and then I had Spectrums, and the amount of like awe that you poured into like you see those things, like you say, it's like, wow, this is incredible. This is like nothing will be better than this. And then you look back at it now, and it's like a pink blob with like a blue line, and you go, okay, well, I was very imaginative as a child. Because I thought that was like that and particularly if it was like you quite often got like film tie-in ones. Like I remember Batman. I think it was Batman. Ocean made Batman. I think.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
and it was like that was the height of like visuals at the time, and that was kind of like.
Yeah.
But I think it's lovely that you like when you have those sorts of memories that are like. It shows you how far gaming's come, and it's not. It can be a long while ago, but it's not that long in the grand scheme of human evolution. It's like a tiny grain of sand, right? So it's
video games are evolving way faster than humans did. That's
yeah, and it's like wow, this is amazing. But I think that's fantastic. What a place to start on controlling a cartoon with your own hands. So you sort of touched on this one before, and you said people ask you this all the time, and you don't ever have a answer for it. But what's your favourite game? Like what? Normally it would be is your favourite game of all time. But what's your what are your favourite games of like different epochs or like different?
Name a system.
Mega Drive.
Mega Drive. I really liked Kid Chameleon on the Mega Drive. I, for some reason, I really enjoyed that one. I think it's because the levels were always really different, and you got a different mask all the time. Had like great sound effects and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to say Kid Chameleon on the Mega Drive.
Amazing. Shall I do another one?
Yeah. Rattle off a few. I can do a quick one. Amiga, hired guns. Loved hired guns on the Amiga.
What about Game Boy?
Game Boy, Mega Man 2. Oh no! I lie. I'm going back on that one. It's Link's Awakening. Because that's what I bought the Game Boy for. I saved up all my pocket money to buy a Game Boy because there was a point in the UK when you could buy a Game Boy for £20.
Wow.
So I saved up, bought a Game Boy and Link's Awakening, and I remember having this magazine. It was called Total Nintendo Magazine, and they had a review of Link's Awakening in there. And I loved what's the Super Nintendo Zelda, the one from the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I loved that one, and then it like the graphical style was exactly the same for Link's Awakening. And I used to look at the review and the screenshots in the review for Total Nintendo like all the time. I'd just keep rereading the review and looking at the screenshots as I slowly saved up my money. So yeah, Link's Awakening for that.
Good. That's a good shout. To be fair, you had a good one to start off with, but you just upped the stakes.
Yeah,
we'll do one more. What about PlayStation 2?
PlayStation 2. That's gonna probably be GTA 3. I'd say that's probably the one I spent my most amount of time. I didn't actually own a PlayStation 2 at the time. I own one now, but I used to play on my friend's PlayStation 2 at university. And I think it was, GTA 3. It's basically just GTA 3 for all that time. So I think
if someone had asked me the same question specifically for that, I think it would be it would definitely be a GTA, probably between Vice City and San Andreas, but it would be in that kind of.
So San Andreas, I had on the original Xbox.
Right. Yeah. It's just like that. When you think of that as a period of time, particularly now when you've got like the most recent GTA being going across three generations, right? It's always two generations. however many generations it was, of like, and then you've got that one generation that had like, here, have another one. Just have more.
Just have all of them. Yeah.
All at once.
Why can't we be like that? What? How long has it been since Grand Theft Auto 5 came out?
Is it 10 years?
Something like that. I went to a midnight launch for it, which they don't even exist.
They don't exist as a thing anymore, do they?
It's so far in the past. Link to the Past. So that was the Super Nintendo one.
There
Link to the Past. Unlike a ZX Spectrum, slow to load, but I get there in the end.
I thought you were just going to say you make that noise just in quiet moments.
If I don't work, you have to put me on the radiator for a bit and see if that will loosen my tape.
Kids today don't know the struggle of loading a game on a tape that made a horrific noise that there was nothing you could do about, and then it just went, nah, it's not going to work. No. And your parent, looking back, our parents would have been going, what is this all about? This just horrible shrieking noise, and then nothing's happened. I've just got to do it again. Right, great. Infinite patience of parents. Then,
actually, in a very old Eurogamer video, I introduced Chris back to the ZX Spectrum and loaded a few games for him, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, "What the hell is this? What are you doing?"
It's an experience. My most precious memory of that gaming in that time is the massive overstretch between the artwork on the little cassettes, and then when you play it. Because I remember, I think it was called Turbo Esprit. There was a game called Turbo Esprit, and the cover. I loved the cover so much, and I'd go into the game shop that was near where I lived, and I need to get that game. I need to get that game. It looks amazing. And then you'd play it, and it was just driving a small rectangle. Yeah, and I'd last about 25 seconds in a game, and then go, all right, okay. I don't even know if I ever got out the first level of it. It was just hard as nails.
That was always the worst, when you picked up a game and you looked on the back at the screenshots and they're all like colourful and stuff. You're like, get back, and you put it in, and the ZX Spectrum has like got 6 colours, I think. They put the Commodore 64 colours on our back.
In a little tiny print, you'd look back at the tape, wouldn't you? And it'd be like on the Amiga or whatever. It's
no. Unbelievable.
So, what would looking sort of in the other direction now? What would be your perfect future game? It doesn't have to be a game that is being made or is announced or is upcoming. But like, what would you, if someone could make your perfect game? What would it be?
My perfect game. A Jorts collect 'em up. No. Gosh, what kind of? Well, I love kind of Far Cry style open worldy thing, but I also. That's a difficult one. I would love to. It's kind of already been made, sort of, but I would love to. There's this VR game, which is kind of like a virtual laser quest,
right? Yeah.
And the only way to play it properly is to like hire out a tennis court and then get a bunch of you with Oculus quests, and then you all get online, jump in there, and you draw out the arena, and then it makes these virtual arenas so that you can run around and like jump over and shoot and things. And that idea of like that style of game is what I imagined video games would be like in the future when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And even though I've never played that game, like I think it's called Space Pirate Trainer or something like that. There's something else, but even though I've never played it, just the thought of it, and maybe it is rubbish in practice, I don't know, but the thought of like being able to rock up with your friends, put on your headsets, and then just be transported into this like world where you can run around properly and like shoot each other and stuff. I just love that idea. It's like the culmination. It's like next level gaming. You'd get very sweaty, and you'd have to run around, you get out of breath and stuff. But it'd be just great being able to physically duck behind things and stuff. Because
I guess it's kind of like almost like like the holodeck in like Star Trek sort of stuff, right? So it's like that kind of thing, but with like the full rig kind of on as well. That's
so
really cool.
maybe something with, you know, a smaller type of headset that you can. It's easier to run around in.
So you're like,
they do a lot of
everyone down.
They do a lot of these keep fit games in VR, and I can't play them because I get sweaty and it steams up.
Yeah.
So they need to. So I don't. So that kind of stuff.
They need proper ventilation.
Yeah, little mini fans blowing in your eyes.
Like windscreen wipers.
Yeah. So that's my future game. Is a VR headset with windscreen wipers.
I think that's fair enough, right? We'll start the investment and the development right now. So when you're playing your games, and this is more probably, as you've said, it's probably more for when it's not VR. What would be your go-to gaming snack?
Oh gosh, my go-to gaming snack is normally sweets of any kind. I love sweets.
Big bag.
Yeah.
Sweets.
I'm on a diet at the moment because I ate so many sweets just before Christmas that I like basically put on a stone. I really love like Gold Bar style chocolate.
Yeah.
So, and there was a phase where everything came out Gold Bars. So there was Gold Bar digestives, Gold Bar Kit Kats, Toblerone did Gold Bar stuff, and I love my viewers, but I think they nearly gave me diabetes because they kept buying me Gold Bar things. Like they turn up, like at EGX, I got so many packets of Gold Bar digestives and giant Gold Bar Toblerones, and people sent Gold Bar Toblerones to my PO box, and I wasn't shy with those things. I was like eating like one a day, and so yeah, it would be sweets of some kind, preferably maybe like a golden caramel kind of flavor. That would be great.
Get it in now before there's some sort of intervention needed.
Yeah, exactly. But I haven't eaten. I had some sweets the other day because it was my birthday.
Yes, happy birthday!
So thank you. 24 again. And I had some sugar then, but apart from that, no sugar in January at all. Yeah. Oh, God. I had so many sweets and junk foods just before, like from October to December. I was like, my blood is just syrup.
That's allowed, right? That's the time of year to stock up the sugar supply is, between Halloween when you get your sweets, and Christmas where all sweets expire. You have to eat them all by then. Exactly. That's fair enough, right?
Once I open a packet, I can't stop eating them, which is why I've had to be like, no, Ian, no sweeties. So no sweets at all throughout February.
And it'll be, that as much as you enjoyed your days of Gold Bar themed stuff now, it'll be another theme for this year. There'll be another, because that's the way that it goes, right? There's like another trend of chocolate. I think it'll probably pistachio, I think is going to be this year.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because before it was salted caramel.
Yeah.
Everything was salted caramel, and then so pistachio. I like pistachio stuff.
I've seen tell of like shops selling out of their pistachio stuff already. So it's like, so I think that's where that's my 2025 insider tip. Okay, so most important question of the whole thing.
Okay.
Who's the best dressed video game character?
Best dressed video game character. Ooh, that's a good one. Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say Crash Bandicoot because he wears jorts.
and the cycle is complete.
Look at that, it's a good callback and everything.
We love it. We love a callback.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. Yeah.
and fair play.
Mm-hmm.
He does always look good.
Yeah.
It's a classic look. It's not changed in how many years is that now? It's
just like denim doesn't go out of fashion. You see,
no, that's it. It's proof, if proof be need be, that it's perfect. Absolutely spot on. Amazing. So, Ian, what have you got coming up next? What's next for Mr. Higton?
Well, on Eurogamer, we're doing we try to do as many videos as we can a week. So A lot of those things, I can't say what they are because of like embargo things and stuff. But, we always have previews, review videos, live streams, whatever's hot, whatever's coming up, whatever's ready to be reviewed. And, what people want to know what game's worth buying. We try and help people with those decisions. So that's the kind of thing you can get on Eurogamer. And then on my personal channel, Platform 32, I do streams from Monday to Friday. Monday to Wednesday is normally like something random. I do this series called What Even Is, where I'll pick a new game that's come out and I'm like, what even is it? What even is Eternal Strands? Or what even is Tankhead? And things like that. So it's kind of, again, like bringing like games that are new or you might not have heard of to the forefront. What is it? Is it any good? Who knows? I'll play the first 2 hours and we'll see. And then I do a VR stream as well once a week. Like I said, I did the Crisis one just before this call, the Crisis VR one. And then on Fridays, I do community streams where me and 3 friends, we drink alcohol on the internet, which is dangerous. But we play like games that the community can join in. Like we always finish off with like 2 or 3 hours of PUBG customs and things like that.
Amazing.
So, yeah, it's lots of fun. I love live streaming. So lots of live streams on my channel, and then pre-recorded videos and previews and things on Euro.
Sounds amazing, and we'll put links to those in below in the blurb below as well, so you can go straight there and get more Ian into your eyes.
Thank you. One last thing before we go. Do you still make this top?
Do you know what? I don't know if we do.
I really like this top.
More insert coin stuff coming though, definitely.
Okay. Well, this top it makes my chest look good, right? Which is why I wear it. So shows off my muscles. But I wear it so much that I've shrunk it a bit now, so it rides up in the waist. So if you ever redo this one again, let me know. Because
are you going for like the crop top and jorts look?
I don't want to go for the crop top and jorts look. I like to have
but is this destiny and fate aligning?
I think it might be. Well, if that's the case, then I really need to keep the diet going. Because
you need to embrace it. Embrace it as a look.
Yeah, if I'm going to get my
Crash Bandicoot.
Exactly. If I'm going to get my mid-riff out, I need to be as ripped as Crash Bandicoot. Otherwise,
and he's ripped. He's really ripped.
He is.
Well, thank you so much, Ian, for your time and for being part of Split Screen. And thank you too for watching at home or wherever you're watching. Maybe you're watching with Crash Bandicoot right now. He's sat there and he's going, oh God, what's going on? Why are they going on about the jorts all the time? But thank you very much for watching. And here's a message from Insert Coin. Please check it out. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, do you love video games? Us too. Insert Coin has been creating unique official gamer gear since 2010. From Ace Attorney to Yakuza, Cyberpunk 2077 to Astrobot. Represent your favourite games in style at www.insertcoinclothing.com. Split Screen, powered by Insert Coin.